Link does not look good right now. Is this a temporary problem or is it a precursor to further softness in the crypto market? That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's take a look at crypto bubbles first. Okay, crypto bubbles, let's go to the day. All right, some days be like this. Actually, it's not as bad as it looked. Earlier today, we saw a bunch more red bubbles, and of course, we still see a lot of negative movement in crypto, but it's not as bad. And if we go to market cap and look at this, Bitcoin, the reason for the softness in the crypto market and Link is this Bitcoin fall right here of 1%. Hard to call that a fall. Retrace, pullback, whatever we're going to call it. But Bitcoin has pulled back from that 52,000 level, and we'll talk about that and how that will affect Link in just a moment. But of course, this is the daily chart of Link. We've had a fantastic run up through October all the way to December to a high of about 20 right here just about a week ago. And I'll zoom in on that in a minute, but let's talk about the personality of Link over these last few months. Link is what I call the adult in the room, the grown up in the room, in that it has gone up, and when it goes up, it tends to level off. So you can see these levels we've been in. Once it captures a level, it tends to hold that level, minus this drawdown right here sometime the early part of February or January. But even this level right here, it stayed within this range fairly well for about 3 months, while other coins were doing things like this. Okay, this is VET, for example. Even Solana, which was a strong coin, was in a deep downward trend. Well, Link was kind of like resistant to those moves, and that's why I call it kind of the more mature coin at this point based on strictly its behavior. And that when it goes up, it has over the last year or so tended to keep that level. Now, there is some danger right here, as you can clearly see. We have gone up over the past week. We have touched this resistance level right around 20 to 21. We wrestled with it for about a week, and if Bitcoin would have continued its break of 52,000, there is no doubt in my mind Link would have continued to move up as well. However, as I just showed on the crypto bubbles, Bitcoin is falling today, and we'll look at that further, but that is why Link is falling and has fallen. It's because Bitcoin has gotten softer, and there is some danger that over today or tomorrow, we're going to hit this level of resistance, which is roughly around 17. I mean, this is an art. It's not a science. You can't exactly draw it to an exact penny, but you can see this line goes through the very top of this high back in December. Let's zoom out here, see if it has any further significance. It's not terribly significant back here. In fact, I could adjust this line a bit, either up or down. But the reason I actually want to kind of raise it right here to the top of this week. But the reason I have it where I have it right now is just because that was the most recent top back in December. And so that is a level we might reach here soon, just all based on how Bitcoin behaves. And let me tell you why Bitcoin is so important. Other than the obvious, Bitcoin is over 50% of the total market cap. That means you could take all the other coins, crypto coins, and add their total value together, and it's still not going to equal the total value of Bitcoin. So there's no doubt that when Bitcoin moves, these other coins will be affected. But this is kind of how altcoins work. When Bitcoin is going up, like it has been, the altcoins do not generally go straight up with it. The altcoins tend to lag behind. And then over the course of a few days, this altcoin might move up, this coin might move up, even over a couple of weeks or sometimes even months. But lately, it's been over the last few days for these top 50 market cap coins. Over the last few days, it takes about a few days to a couple of weeks for these coins to go up. And that is what has happened with Link. Bitcoin moving up has pulled the Link price up. But once Bitcoin levels out, as it has, the altcoins tend to start drifting downward. The altcoins need this continuous fuel by Bitcoin of moving up. But once Bitcoin kind of levels off, the altcoins start drifting. And you can see with Bitcoin, we have definitely seen this leveling off right here around 52,000 over the past week. We are firmly right here at this 52,000 level. Interestingly enough, yesterday about this time, we also had a nice, not a nice, but a red bar being printed just like we're seeing today. This bar was printing red yesterday about this time, and over the course of the day, Bitcoin finished higher and eventually finished green. We're seeing a repeat of that today. That just tends to show there's some mild weakness in Bitcoin as we've seen the candle yesterday that did close upward. I'm not sure we're going to get this today. The more often you see a push downward, the greater chance there is of actually breaking that level. So if we're going to continue this push downward, which is what, right around 50,700, the top of this right here is right around 50,342. So if we're going to get below this level right here and snugly get below 50,000, well, we're obviously going to see that reflected in other coins such as Link. And if we do break below 50,000, there's absolutely no doubt we're going to hit this level and may break on down into the level below. How long we'll stay there? You know, we might dip down like this and pull back up, just like we did here. It's all 100, in my opinion, percent dependent on how Bitcoin is going to act. So let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Archive posted, Bitcoin is up 37% in 21 days. Consolidation here would be normal. Be patient. And I would agree with that. Consolidation here would be normal. A retrace would be normal. If you've been watching my previous videos, I'll go through this really quick because it is in my previous videos formatic and pretty much every video I've made the last couple of weeks. We have the halving coming up in Bitcoin that's scheduled, not scheduled, but estimated to happen around April 20th. That is this indicator here. The historical price before halving for Bitcoin has been a run up, which we've experienced. And then a retrace, generally 10, 20, sometimes 30%. If I had to guess, it would be 10 to 20% just because we're in a strong market here, which would put us around this 40 to 45,000 region. And then we tend to consolidate as we get through the halving. And then over the course of a few weeks to a few months after the halving, that's when the bull run generally happens. So, as I've mentioned, there is the scenario that if Bitcoin follows its historical price action before halving, we're going to get a pullback here down to 40 to 45,000, which an extended price would also go in line with that as Bitcoin has been extended and moved upwards nicely. So people are starting to ask that question. The Wolf of Wall Street, someone else I follow on Twitter, Bitcoin is correcting. Is the pre-halving top in, or is there more upside to come, and how far can Bitcoin correct? He's holding a discussion on YouTube, but he's asking the question, is the pre-halving top in? And that is what we're looking at. Could this be the top before we get a retrace before the halving? Do not fear. If you are in Link, if you are in Bitcoin, if you are in any altcoin that is worth its value, this is the attitude you should have. I do believe it is correct. Lady of Crypto says, don't overcomplicate the next 18 months. Your job is to accumulate, hold, and take profit heavily in 2025. And then she goes on a little bit talking about leveraged traders. I am not leveraged. That is, I do not borrow money to trade. I am 100%. It is my money that I'm trading. So I'm not going to, what I'm saying is that the market goes against me, I'm not going to get stopped out quickly, and I'm not going to lose more than I've invested because I've only invested what I have. I am not trading on margin. So I am taking her advice and I am holding. And I will hold through 2024 and 2025, or not through 2025, but at least until 2025. And so if you are in Link, what happens over the next few days? Of course, we never want to see our coins go down. We'd always like to see our coins going up, breaking the next levels. But my point is, you might have to be patient, as if this is the top of the Bitcoin pre-halving run, then we're going to see Link drift on down here as Bitcoin gives back some of its gains, but that is a temporary issue. I do firmly believe Bitcoin's going to reach its all-time highs in 2024 and go beyond them, is my guess. And 2025, we'll just have to see as we get closer. So be patient, hold. If you're in Link and that's where you want to be, just hang on. Let the price do what it's going to do. Keep an eye on it, but don't let it affect your behavior. Be patient, and we'll watch Link together as we continue on through the halving and 2024.